Thank you, Miss Libby, for taking the time to get an interview with me.
You're welcome.
And I just want to ask some questions on the two types of routes I'm trying to take into university.
Okay.
So first, I want to start with engineering. So for engineering, what type of science do you recommend to do?
Typically, most schools are looking for physics and chemistry. Both are going to be excellent resources moving forward at the grade 12 level specifically. They're very similar to your first year courses.
So for math, should I take pre-calculus or calculus?
Both. Pre-calculus will be an admission requirement. Calculus will not be, but it'll give you a first look at calculus, so then when you go into math first year, you're not seeing it for the first time, right? So it's more about an experiential opportunity versus it being an admission requirement. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Do you know some classes that kind of look good in your transcript when you're applying to schools?
They say depth and breadth is the key to a good transcript, right? And do you know what those mean?
No, you know.
No? So when we're thinking about depth and breadth, we're looking at how rigorous your area of study is and the variety that you have on your transcript, right? So they're going to look at really specific courses in engineering. They're going to say you need like English, math, sciences, and maybe other approved grade 12 courses. So the more areas that you've looked at, the happier they are, right? So if you went in with, you know, it's not necessarily a disadvantage to take a more elective-based course because it's showing that you're learning in multiple areas, right? So say you took a robotics class or a drafting class, all those are going to add to your resume and skill set.
Yeah, because this year I took link crew and drafting, so
Yeah.
that looked good on my transcript from applying to schools.
Yeah. So like the drafting for sure, because it's really applicable to engineering. And then the link crew is all about leadership, right? And leadership qualities in an engineering program are especially important because it is a really group-based faculty. So you're constantly doing group projects, you're working together, you're doing lots of like group problem solving, group projects, and all those kind of things. So the fact that you are building skills as a leader is a really awesome thing to do.
So do you know what type of grades I would need to get into university, kind of like UBCO or like BCIT, or like minimal requirements?
I don't know them off the top of my head, but you're probably looking at like low 80s would be your minimum, and you're probably shooting for a more what's the word that I want? If you want a more like a stronger application, mid 80s to low 90s would be a very solid amount. But if you go with the minimum, which are usually around 70s, like that, you're not as competitive, right? They'll rank you and then they'll select the top students. So although they say low 70s is the average, you're looking at like 80s to mid 80s as being a realistic minimum.
Do you know some schools that do engineering, like in BC, like some of the top schools?
Yeah, so almost all the universities now have an engineering program. The local ones would be Okanagan College offers a 2-year civil engineering program. So that is a good opportunity to be able to get out in 2 years. They're also approving a full engineering degree at this time. So that's always an option if you want to stay really local. UBCO, TRU, and Kamloops. So TRU actually has a bridge program to the bigger schools. So you do your first 2 years at TRU and you can continue on, or else you can transfer to UBC, UVic, UBCO. So there's a bunch of schools that you can actually transfer into. So basically all the universities have some degree of engineering opportunities.
Okay. So now if I was transitioning into doing business or something like that, should I take stats or economics if I'm going to business?
Both are going to bring you more insight into some of the specifics in a business focus, right? So statistics is like the keystone to business. But and economics, again, is just you're starting to build a better view of what some of the pieces are that revolve around business. So both are really good options.
So if I were to take French, is French 12 better like to take, or is French 11 fine for most colleges? Do you think?
As an applicant, French 11 will be sufficient. But again, if you can continue your learning, you're that much more capable. You're that much more. You have that much of a stronger language acquisition that all of a sudden now you have more opportunities ahead of you, right? So it's not that you need to have it to apply, but it's more just about building your skill set as a learner.
Yeah, because a lot of people say you don't need French at all, but I kind of like having French to like 11 just to like kind of have the experience and knowing that you can kind of talk another language outside the ones you already know.
For sure. And it's a huge piece when it comes to hiring, right? If you can say you can speak French at a certain level and you can speak like English and other languages, you become a strong applicant, right? In some industries, you can even get paid more money because you can speak a second language.
Yeah, and also it's good right now because classes are free anyways, so might as well. That can make you money over time when you're older. So.
Yep, for sure.
Do you think I should go into AP English 12 if I'm doing business?
I don't even know if that's specific to like a business or any course. I think AP gives you an opportunity to really push your skill set, right? It forces you to, it's a more rigorous course. There's higher expectations in the course. There's more work in the course. So there's so many other skill sets that are going to benefit you regardless of the program you choose to study in, right? Like you're going to have, if you're going to a university, you're going to have to take first year English. So if you kind of already have an idea of what that could look like at a university level, then again, you're at an advantage because you have more experience.
Yeah, I've taken pre-AP English 11 this year, so I didn't know if I should go into AP English 12 or just normal English 12.
How'd you feel about it this year?
The marks kind of been like almost the same. Like last year got about an 86, 87. This year got an pre-AP got about an 82, 81 right now.
Yeah.
So
I think like, again, you're getting pushed farther, so your mark may be impacted because they're looking for really specific things, but the more that you can develop your skill, again, you become a better writer, right? Whether that's with professional writing, academic writing, any of that. So I don't think you're at a disadvantage for taking it.
What are the best schools to go to for business in like the BC area?
Well, there's like the classic old school schools like at UVic, SFU, UBC. Yeah. But realistically, again, just like engineering, you're looking at almost every school has an opportunity. Certain schools are more industry focused. So so for example, like BCIT, UBC, they're working specifically with people within the industry, employers within the industry who are informing them the things that they're looking for. So you're building skills like really specific to what they want to see in applicants. If you go to some of the bigger schools, that's still the case, but you're also having a greater depth of learning. So it kind of depends on where you want to go and how long you want to be in school for.
Yeah. So if I feel like if I do business, I'd probably be like, I have more options after I'm done college. And I think one of the options I was thinking about is going to law. So what would be the procedure of going into like law school? Like what do you have to do before you get in?
So you need to take your LSAT as like one of the major pieces. So that's like the nationwide exam that would be used as your primary application piece. So you take your LSAT and then you would apply to schools with a certain mark, right? And that's going to be the main piece that they're looking at, but they're also going to continue to look at your education that you did in your undergrad.
So you can do any like degree before that?
You can, yeah.
So do you think business would be a good idea to take before that probably?
Because like again, it depends on what area of law you want to study.
Yeah.
Right? So law has a million arms that you can study in. So, if you're going into business law, that's one thing. If you're going into family law, that's another thing. Like, so there's different ways of looking at it. So if you're interested in business, are you interested in business law, or are you what are you interested in?
I was just kind of looking into that. I'm not really sure about what I'm doing yet, though.
Exactly, right? So ultimately, as long as you have an area of interest behind you, you're doing well, you're passionate, you do well in your LSAT, you're going to be a good candidate. But it'll depend on what you want to focus in once you finish.
All right, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
I learned a lot today.
Good.
And thank you.